Hi there and welcome to this ColliderScribe tutorial. I'm Alice and this tutorial will be delving into the advanced space fill settings, giving you even more control of your fills, ensuring better artwork and faster workflow. In order, this tutorial will cover how to use the seed, method, uniformity, as well as the auto-detect container object preference. Okay, so in the previous video we covered the more basic settings in the lower half of this panel. This time we're just going to focus on this top section. The first of these being the seed. Now this looks complicated because of all these scary numbers, but really it's just a reference number for the configuration we've just made. I can type any number from 0 to 214748367 to be precise. And these figures aren't really too important when experimenting, as you can just press the randomize button to run through different number configurations. If needed, you could then copy that seed number in order to recreate that particular configuration. So if you ever want to go back, write it down. Obviously, if you change the container path, then the fill will change to fit. So far I've used similar sized objects for all my fills, but what happens if you use varying sizes? Let's try with these two. Okay, so suddenly this isn't working. Don't let yourself be held up by this. The problem is that the alignment is being worked out by the center point, as selected here in the panel. All we need to do is change this method to outline and apply settings to update, which works perfectly. What the outline option does is look at the complete shape or outline of each object. The outline method takes a little longer to work out, so if you're asking a lot of Illustrator by using a high number of copies, make sure you use the center method of alignment whenever you can to ensure maximum productivity. The last of these panel settings for us to look at is uniformity, which is a measure of how uniform the spacing is between different objects. 1 being irregular and 10 being more uniformed. Now we are very much at the stage of fine-tuning. All that's left to look at is currently space fill's only preference, which is whether to auto-detect container object. This has been on for all the examples I've shown so far. Basically, it will assume the largest object in your selection is the container to be filled. In 99.9% of the cases, this will be what you want. However, if you do turn this off, it will then use the bottommost object as the container. What's important to understand is that spacefill has a particular strength of spacing objects, rather than packing objects as tightly as possible. You'll find by increasing the size or quantity in your fill that there will be a point where they start touching. But what we can do is use this to our advantage by overfilling an area like I've done here. One very cool tool. Which brings this spacefill tutorial to an end. We've covered the seed, method, uniformity, and the auto-detect container preference. Congratulations, you're now officially a ColliderScribe expert. If you want more info, just check out our FAQs. And if you're feeling inspired, download our free 14-day trial today. Thanks for watching.